perhaps, if you're into it, we could get some of these doctors and therapists that are here right now, and they'll tell you miraculous stories. See, I can talk all I want, and it's only talk. But when it comes to a doctor saying, this happened in my clinic, that's a different story. That's the proof of the pudding. And this is what gives the other doctors and the other therapists and the patients what you call hope. And if we can give you hope that there is a cure, then that's a great thing. To change the world, you've got to help each other. It's like a domino effect. If Bill helps you, you help somebody else. That somebody else helps somebody else, and it just keeps going. And that's what you call sharing love. Sharing wisdom. And wisdom is love. It really is. Wisdom is a God-given intelligence before the contamination of human thought. And it lies inside, dormant. Now, when I say inside, I don't mean inside the body. This is just a way to try and express the unexpressible. Inside means really beyond time, space, and matter. And you're connected to those three principles that lie before time, space, and matter. And those three principles are the wisdom you're looking for. But you can't find it because you're caught up in a divine illusion. And your own little mind, your own little thought system is jamming it because you see an illusion. You go past the illusion, and there it is. People say, well, how do you do that? Try and find a quiet mind. And you can't think your way into a quiet mind. All you have to do is just be. That's all. Just be. And that quiet mind will take you there. But you'll never find it with a busy mind. So the more you think about what I'm saying, the worse it'll be for you. Don't think about it. If you get a nice feeling, enjoy it. That's the way. If you're driving home, don't try and figure it out. But I bet you 90% of you will. But it's when you get, all of a sudden, you know how some people will say, I was having a shower, and suddenly I realized, or I was driving down the road, and I just realized, wow, it's my own thoughts that were creating the problem, because they weren't thinking. And the greatest experience you could ever have in your life is in a complete state of no thought. Because when you're in a complete state of no thought, even for 1 second, this is what you call self-realization. Because you have stopped thinking from this world, you've touched those three principles in the purest form. You go beyond this physical world to the state of absolute purity, and you find out the secret to life. Then you start thinking, you're back into this world, but you're back with a message. You found it. And you can never explain it, because nobody can give you wisdom. Nobody can tell you wisdom. They may have wisdom inside them, but the second they put it into a form, it has to be a metaphor. because they're trying to describe the undescribable. They're trying to describe the formless. So they put it into a metaphor as close as they can. And they tell you via the word. And this is why they say to you, go beyond the word. Now, when I first started talking like this, I'd get to an audience and I'd say, please don't listen to what I'm saying. And they'd say, wait a minute, what kind of nut is this? We come here to listen to him and we're not supposed to listen to his words? I don't want you to listen to my words. You know why? Because you'll start believing me. And if you start believing me, that means to say you're following whatever I'm saying. I don't want that. I want you to be your own person. I want you to go beyond my words. Go inside, have an insight. That's a sight from within. Find your own wisdom, and you say, wow, you know what I just found? Then I'd say to you, good for you. I'm proud of you. Because you're not listening to me, you're listening to a little voice deep in your soul. And you know what soul is? Pure consciousness. You know how some people will say you're losing your soul? You're losing your consciousness. You're losing your understanding. You're going astray. Then somebody will come along and say, I know you're going astray. I'll take you back again. Just listen to this story, and they'll tell you a story. And you think, well, it's just a story. No, it isn't. It's a metaphor. And if you listen very carefully, you go beyond the word. That's what George was trying to tell people the other day, how to listen. And quite often we talk to people and they'll say, well, I am listening. I say, no, you're not. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Yes, I am. And they can repeat the words. They'll repeat the words and they'll say, you're saying mind, consciousness, and thought. I've got a pet parrot that could say that. But that doesn't mean to say the pet parrot knows what it's talking about. It's the understanding beyond the words of mind, consciousness, and thought. Now, a lot of the Eastern philosophies, they talk about big mind and little mind. They're talking about what they call God mind, or universal mind, or the spiritual mind. Then they talk about the little mind being your freedom of thought. But in reality, there isn't a big mind and a little mind, because that's a duality. There is only one mind. And unless you see in the singular, you will never find it. You have to see in the singular. And if you hear in the singular, this is where the deaf will hear and the blind will see. Because it's all inside, it's already there. You're already there. And if somebody tells you that it takes years and years of study to get there, don't listen. Don't listen. You know how close you are? You're one thought away. One thought. And you've got it. 2 thoughts, you're getting close. 3 thoughts, you're not so close. 100 thoughts, you're really getting away. 1,000 thoughts, you're really missing the boat. People say, you know what I think? I say, no, I'm not interested. Because it's a world of thought. And if you can find the secret to thoughtlessness, and I've had people say to me, you know, Sid, you're full of it. I say, okay, how come? Well, I'm talking about one particular person a long time ago. Well, I've been in that state of no thought, and I didn't like it one bit. And I'll say, oh, really? You were in a state of no thought? Yes. He says, it was the scariest thing I ever had in my life. I said, tell me about it. He says, well, I was driving past St. Mary's Lake, and all of a sudden my mind went blank, and I panicked. I really panicked. I thought it was, oh, God, he says, it was horrible. And I said, well, what made you panic? He says, well, the thought of having no thoughts. So, you know, something's wrong here. Now, the state of no thought is, do you know when you, I don't know if I should say this or not. You know when you die? Everybody becomes enlightened. Everybody. And that's the beauty. And I don't care who says that somebody's judging you or not. That's not true. It's only the human mind that judges. When you die, you will see that this world has been, for you, a divine illusion, and you've gone home. But the only thing is, you're dead. You don't live to tell the tale. But enlightenment, you do live to tell the tale. Now, I've sometimes talked about the three principles for an hour to people, and they'll say to me, well, when are you going to tell us about the principles and how they work? Well, I already have, many times. You see, those wise people from the past, all these great mystics, they'll take you by metaphor to the door. They'll even open the door for you, but you've got to walk through. Nobody can put you through that door. If you want to go past this physical world and find out the ultimate secret, you have to do it on your own. If you want to find the wisdom inside yourself, you have to do it on your own. Because somebody could talk to another person till hell freezes over every day in life, and they'll never find it because they're going to go through it. And here's another beautiful thing. Some people will say, well, I've been talking to this man that really knows, or this woman that really knows what they're talking about for 40 years, so I know more than you. Time is an illusion. And somebody can walk in here, sit down for 5 minutes, and be ahead of you, me, and everybody else. So don't ever be fooled by anybody saying to you, I'll have to teach you because I've been listening for X amount of years. That has nothing to do with it. If that's the case, those people do not know that this life is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's a divine illusion, and it's held within the boundaries of time, space, and matter. And this is why time, space, and matter are illusions. You see, this is all tied into physics. Mind, conscious, and thought are all tied up. Like that E equals mc squared. Never mind the squaring by speed of light, because that's finite. And no matter how big a number it is, it can still come to an end. The answer to that should be infinity. And infinity is the energy of all things, whether in form or formless. Therefore, that is what infinity is. A lot of people argue, what is infinity? Is there such a thing? Of course there is, because this is what creation is. It's the energy of all things, whether in form or formless. That's why a lot of these mystics say, excuse me, there's no beginning and no end. Now, with our little minds, we can't possibly imagine no beginning and no end. Can you imagine a piece of string with just only one end? Try it. You have a ball of string, you have a wee this, that. You can't do it. And that's where the secret to life lies. When you see there's no beginning and no end and everything is just energy. And you and I are created from that energy. The trees, the birds, the lakes, the sky, everything is created from the same energy. It's an illusion. When the illusion comes to an end, you come to an end. And that's what they call death. But life and death are really the same thing in a different form, because they're all the same energy. Now, as I say, the intellect can't understand that, but you can realize it. And to realize it, you must step inside, go beyond the intellect, peace of mind, and there it is. It's right in front of you. Always has been, always will be. That's why the great nothingness some of the sages talked about is before creation. And the great nothingness and the allness are the same thing in a different disguise. Would you like to explain that one, George? Yeah? Nobody can. How can you explain nothing? Formlessness. Formlessness and nothing are the same thing. And this is where space is an illusion. Because you see, if I take this hand and I take this hand, never mind my face, and you say, well, what's in between? What's in between here and here? And the answer is nothing. It's empty space. That's not true. Because this hand is created from the formless energy that has taken a form. This hand is the same energy, the formless energy that has taken a form. And in between, there's air, there's oxygen, nitrogen, there's particles of dust, and there's energy. All in between, all created from the same formless energy. Now, if that's true, these two hands are really like that. There is no space. It's an illusion. And this is what the physicists are looking for. Why is this and this look different? When in actual fact, if you're here and you want to get it there, that's all you have to do. Because it's all one. Everything is all one. Everything is an illusion. Well, thank you very, very much for coming. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of Bill and I, we really thank you.